Was a fiery exchange today between a BC politician and an environmentalist.
The spotted owl has been on a steep decline in population numbers here in the province.
Joe Foy from the Western Canada Wilderness Committee was speaking at a press conference when an unexpected visitor showed up, Chilliwack MLA Barry Penner.
British Columbia has become an environmental pariah because of your government. We are down to the last few handful of spotted owl out in your area. You're allowing logging. What did you call me? You called me a liar for saying we're down to the last few spotted owls, for God's sake?
And Canada, there's international agreements that we've signed, like the Convention on Biological Diversity, in which we pledge to protect species at risk. And yet here we have one of the most at-risk species in the country, the most at-risk species in the country, and we can't protect it. And this year, in 2000, and well, just the year that just passed, in 2003 and coming into 2004, the government struck a recovery team for the spotted owl, but in the meantime, they've already done studies and they know the very precarious state of the spotted owl, but in the meantime they continue to cut in one of the few areas that are remaining for spotted owls. And you have nesting sites and you have foraging sites, and the government is allowing timber companies and their own small business program to come in and cut these sites. And it's, I mean, you can nearly laugh if it weren't so sad. For many, many, many years, Canada had no federal endangered species legislation. Just recently this year we enacted some, but the problem is it's very, very weak. And for instance, in British Columbia, which provincially has no endangered species legislation, it only applies to 1% of the land base. And so we have a situation where the province is in charge of the welfare and the well-being of the spotted owl, and at the same time the province, through their small business timber program, is a #1 logger of spotted owl habitat. And we have an owl that, according to the government's own scientists, will probably be extinct or extirpated in Canada within 5 years because of continued logging in its habitat. The government actually says that you can cut habitat to maintain or enhance. But all you need to do is take a look at some of the clear cuts that are in spotted owl habitat and realize that there's not an owl anywhere to be found because it can't survive, to realize how ludicrous that is. #1, we need to stop logging in spotted owl habitat, the habitat that's left. We need to have on-the-ground, scientifically valid, functional, endangered species recovery plans.
This forest is being logged under Ministry of Forest permit. It's one of the 11 sites, which is pretty shocking considered the spotted owl is about the most endangered species in the country. What's even more shocking is of the 11 sites, this year, 2003, we found logging in 6 of the 11 sites. All of it legal, all of it approved by the BC provincial government. It's pretty obvious to us that the BC provincial government is systematically pushing the species into extinction. And we're here to try and stop that. This piece of forest we're standing in has never been logged, and it's full of endangered species, including some of BC's most famous endangered species. This is one of the 11 spotted owl sites. It's the one site that hasn't been confirmed by provincial biologists. An independent biologist saw an owl, called in an owl, just up here, just up the hillside. And what the Ministry of Forest did with that information is, instead of sending up ministry biologists up the hill to see if the owl was there, they gave Catermall a permit to come in here and cut down these trees.
Well, we've seen what happens with industry-led endangered species recovery plans. In the province of British Columbia, we have over 1,000 species at risk. And we're going to lose the spotted owl. We're going to lose the woodland caribou. We're going to lose the Vancouver Island marmot unless we wake up and start doing things differently.
Well, we're having a camp out in the clear cut to really show people what's happening to their provincial park system. Here in the Manning Park
Skagit complex. We've walked up from our little campsite. We set up some tarps in the middle of the beautiful forest at the Cayuse Flats area right in Manning Park. We had about 20 people come out. We talked about what we need to do to protect our parks. And then we've just hiked 3 kilometers, only 3 kilometers up the little road that starts down there in the park, and we come out here in this fresh logging operation. They're logging this area right now. We talked to a local person who pulled in off the highway and said he's been watching them set this up for the past year, so happy that environmentalists have showed up. He explained they want to log 60,000 cubic meters of wood out of this one little valley in the heart of Manning Park, this Cayuse Valley. 60,000 cubic meters is 2,000 logging truckloads to come out of the heart of the Manning Park Skagit complex. Unbelievable. We have to stop them somehow. And that's what this first group, this first 20 people are here about. We've come up to hike, to see this place. Incredible. Some of the trees over here are over a century old. It means they're just coming in to habitat for spotted owl. That's important because this forest, this former forest that we're standing here, it's sticks and stumps and slash. This is designated a spotted owl management area.
The logging, which is happening right here, right now, is the reason why spotted owls are going down in the province. Only 14 birds left, 4 breeding sites, one of which is right here, and we have government-sanctioned logging. And they're only about halfway done with the logging as we speak right now, and we have got to get this government to stop this right now.
I've been devastated to find out that there's been so few owl sightings in the last few years. When I worked on the project, we were up to, I believe, 56 pairs. That was in 1993. And last year, I think they only found 10 owls on that same recovery project. The only way that we can save the spotted owl from certain extinction in Canada is to save old growth habitat. And there's so little of mature Douglas fir, coastal Douglas fir remaining that it's just critical that we save what's left.
Western Wildlife Wilderness Committee and the Sierra Legal Defense Fund say a logging company is felling timber within 1 kilometer of the owl's nest.
These are the birds that produce pretty much all of the young in British Columbia. They're birds which, their territory should be sacrosanct, because without these birds at Enterprise Creek, the spotted owl will likely go down.
Biologists estimate that 500 pairs of spotted owls existed in the old-growth forests of southwest BC before clear-cut logging. By 1990, only about 100 pairs of spotted owls remained. Today, there are only 8 pairs known to be left.